So, Nicole, if you could ask every instructional designer or educator to pause and reflect on one human centered question before designing a learning experience, what would that question be?
I think this is kinda I'll just reiterate the theme kind of that's been going on in our conversation is what conditions and experiences will you support or facilitate to connect, construct, and transfer their learning into a new context? How can they take these core concepts and skills and apply them in a new situation with while feeling also confident, and motivated to do so, like, because that's when it's relevant and meaningful to them. So,
Right.
it would just to be sit and think about how are you designing the conditions and experiences to move the learning past and beyond, the scope of what you're currently designing to do.
That's beautiful. I love that. I'm gonna have to write
Oh,
that one
thank
down
you.
because it'll be in the script. So I'll be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna pull that one out." That's a great one. Love it. I'll have to add that to my little list of questions to ask, and then
No,
maybe I
I'm
can
touched, Jackie. Thank
pose it.
you.
Yeah, pose it to my students. I can use it as a
Mm.
classroom assessment technique for my students. Ooh, that would be
When I ask
great.
myself that question, it really helps me then even go back to, like, the scenarios I'm designing and
Right.
how authentic and realistic can I create them, I really don't like multiple choice questions. I know they're very practical when we're, doing compliance and SOPs and whatnot, but ultimately, like, the real world is not black and white. It's not this polarized dynamic, situations are ambiguous, they're unclear. They're not might not be a blanket right or wrong. It might be you choose this path and this happens, you choose this path and this will happen. And the consequences can vary. They might be positive and negative, both with different weights perhaps. But the real world isn't an ABC choice. The real
Right.
world is it's not always about what's wrong and what's right, coming back to the US, it's been really an interesting observation seeing how, like, the political sphere here has and again, when we're talking about or Brofenbreiner's, like, the macro system, like, this does impact the child because the policies and decisions that, the state makes, that the superintendent makes, that the teacher then makes, it carries down. It's got a trickle-down effect, you know? Um and so I kind of just deviated from what you were saying. I'm so sorry. I lost my train
No,
of
that's
thought.
okay. This is no, it's beautiful. I love it. I think it connects back to what we've been talking about. So I love that. That's great. That's wonderful. So Nicole, as we wrap up, what advice would you give to instructional designers, educators, or learning experience designers like yourself who want
Mm.
to create learning that feels more connected, culturally responsive, and human centered?
Stay curious, man. Stay curious. Um, you know, spend more time understanding who your learners are before you build the content. Um, listen before you design. I love Stephen Covey. Seek to understand before being understood. Ask questions before you generate your answers. Um, yeah, design for humans at the center. Humanity just needs to be at the center,
Right.
ultimately.
Absolutely. I love it.
People don't learn in isolation, like you said, they learn through relationships, culture, reflection, productive struggle. So, yeah,
Right.
stay curious. Stay curious.
Absolutely. I love it.